Now let's come back to Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission, which last week announced that 2 crypto asset exchanges have been given approval in principle, while 5 other digital asset firms have been invited into the SEC's regulatory incubation program. This is history in the Nigerian financial market ecosystem. Welcome my guest tonight on this exclusive interview, the new Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Agama. We thank you for coming in through Abuja studios tonight, Mr. Director General. Congratulations on your recent appointment as well as your new team.
Thank you very much for having me, Bosun. It's my pleasure to be here this evening.
We appreciate your time. What informed your decision at the SEC to license 2 crypto exchange operators and 5 others into your regulatory incubation?
Well, thank you again. What informed our decision to do what is right is because we've observed that increasingly Nigerians and indeed Nigerian youths are increasingly becoming interested in the digital space. And so it was important to provide regulation, clarity, and indeed the protection of investors, which is our primary responsibility, without hindering innovation, because part of our responsibility as SEC is market development. And we are all aware that Mr. President is very interested in the youths and the activities of the youths. So clearly, the majority part of people who are involved in this space are the youths themselves. And it is no gainsaying that providing a space, a regulated space for these individuals is a prime responsibility of the SEC. And so it was necessary to provide a guide, clarity, and of course, the knowledge that is required to put all of these things in place belongs to the SEC. So that's exactly why we're doing what we've done.
What are the regulatory imperatives on your side at the SEC in ensuring that these digital asset managers operate by the book and the investors are duly protected?
I didn't get you very well. If you could come back again.
Yes, my question was, you're the regulator. What do we have on the table to ensure that these digital asset operators operate by the book and that investors are also duly protected?
Oh, fantastic. It's important to understand that being the apex capital market regulator, we follow international guidelines. And one of it is about disclosure, full disclosure, making sure that they meet the AML, CFT, robust applications, and making sure that disclosures are made, to investors. Also, education is important, and the guided, regulatory space. So it is important to explain, the process at the SEC. And what we have done is that we have a regulatory incubation, which speaks to initial applicants into the system, trying to understand what they do and evaluating them for what we call the fit and proper persons test. After that process, you are now transferred to the accelerated regulatory incubation program. And that is for those that have crossed through the regulatory incubation into the second space that allows us to evaluate you for risk management, fit and proper persons test, disclosure requirements, good market structure, and an understanding of exactly what you intend to do or achieve. So for us, it's important that we put them in what we call a controlled environment. And that controlled environment enables the SEC watch over what you are doing and be able to that we are able to prescribe particularly and specifically regulations that are fit for purpose and will help in the protection of will-be investors. This is very critical for us because the Nigerian population must be safeguarded from any attempt by anyone to get them wrongly informed. But besides that, and it is very important to note that the activities of crypto exchanges must be watched so that they do not impede the national economy. The national economy is very important, and so it's our responsibility to make sure that whoever is participating in our environment must follow the rules, must work by the rules, and must not do anything that will cause harm to our economy. That is very critical for us, and such, those people must be put in a check box. Beside that, you also know that the Finance Act also provides for taxation of all of these exchanges. In a controlled environment, we are able to gather data, gather information, and also get them to comply with extant rules and regulations besides the laws of this country. So clearly, it's intended that we bring clarity, we bring, we bring clarity, we bring understanding to the entire system, and of course, we make everybody, work by the books as it is provided.
Interesting that we have 2 crypto exchanges, there are 4 others in incubation, then of course a custodian out there. How many more operators in the digital asset ecosystem are you looking to license in Nigeria?
Yes, it's interesting to get that question again, because clearly we have a deluge of intending applicants into the system. And what we have done is that we are actually approaching it from what we call a measured approach. A measured approach requires that we do not flood the market with exchanges. We also are guided by the qualifications and filings of these individuals or clients. And so it is important that everyone that wants to be registered must meet our requirements. So the numbers that we're going to register even in the future is dependent on the individuals or the institutions meeting the strict regulatory requirements that we have set in place in order not to welcome everybody that just wants to apply. Because this is important to bring sanity into the market. It's important that they all know that someone is watching them. And importantly too, we are certainly going to start enforcement actions on anyone who wants to operate in this market and does not have the intention of being regulated by the SEC or any other institutions that is involved in this. So we are only sending out a signal to all those that want to play by the books, that you are welcome to our space. But if you do not want to play by the books, of course, we definitely will not allow you to operate within our space.
Tell me about other developments, Mr. Director General, that you are watching very closely at the Commission in relation to the digital assets industry. I'm sure you know this industry is fast-moving, changes every minute, every second. Innovation, very, very quickly happening. So what does this pose as a challenge to you?
I can't hear you if you can hear me.
Yes, Mr. Director General, I was asking what are the developments that you and your team are watching closely at the Commission in relation to the digital assets industry as at the moment. Of course, there are quite a number of issues that you have to deal with. This is one sector very huge on the side of innovation. Our different institutions are coming up almost on a daily basis. You got different digital assets being introduced around the world. Folks are binging all of these. So it brings a whole lot to an industry that is emerging here on this side of the world and globally speaking. So, Mr. Director General, I'm sure you got that. So I'm trying to say the world is changing. The crypto industry is evolving very quickly. So how are you watching these developments to ensure that the SEC stays at the head of the digital assets industry?
Securities regulation is a knowledge-based phenomenon. It's not a fly-by-night business. So one of the things we are doing at the SEC is to make sure we provide the best of education to our staff that are going to be busy doing this job. And so training is important, education is important, exposure is important, and of course, a sense of responsibility is also important. We see this as, a national tax. We see it as something that actually speaks to the mindset of the young Nigerians. We see it as a responsibility to guard against unscrupulous elements who want to destroy our economy. So for various reasons, it is important that we are here to do what we have been asked to do. And as such, we will do our best to making sure that we operationalize what we are doing to global standards. And as I speak now, the IOSCO, the International Corporation for Securities Regulation, is actually organizing a program, a training program for crypto regulation in Spain, Madrid. The staff of the SEC will be represented there, while we are also part of global discussions around regulation of crypto, regulation of digital assets, and all forms of fintech that is associated with securities regulation.
Well, we thank you so much, Mr. Director General, for this one-on-one with you here on Arise Exchange. Thank you so much. We wish you all the best in your new role at the SEC. We wish you all the best and your team. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.